I went on a walk for 10 minutes. Everyone says I went missing for 7 years. Every single morning I would walk past the same creepy cornfield on my daily walk. Usually I would try to ignore it and walk out of there as fast as I could because of all the odd stories people had about it. Until today, I was walking past the creepy cornfield as I did for the last 4 years, when out of nowhere I heard laughing coming from the middle of the field, which was strange because gone into the field in 30 years. So I stopped walking and turned around to find out what that sound was. When I did, I saw a little girl standing between the stalks. She had forest green eyes, red hair, and looked like she was no older than 7. Right as I was about to ask her where her parents were, she said, "Catch me," and then vanished into the corn. The last thing I wanted to do was to follow her, but something felt wrong. So I decided to jump over the fence and follow her laughter through the corn. I ran for what felt like hours, through dry leaves and dust, but I couldn't give up. She was close, but after reaching to the end of the field, it had snow, which was super odd because it was just 90 degrees. That's when I realized it became significantly colder, and I was barely able to breathe. I decided whatever prank this wasn't worth my sanity. So as I turned around to leave the same way I came in from, all the corn was gone. It was all replaced by what looked like snowy trees. At this point I was losing my mind, trying to wake up from whatever this dream was. And as I was trying to make sense of what was going on, I heard the little girl, "Hey mister, if you catch me I'll show you the way out." I decided I would do whatever it took to get out of this place. So I started chasing her through all forest. But after chasing her for a while, I slipped beneath some ground ice and fell into a grassy meadow. The air was warm all of a sudden, and right as I was about to give up, I heard her again. "Are you giving up already?" She was standing right in front of me, so I decided to get up and chase her. But every single time, I would end up in different places. We were in a desert, then a storm, then back in the corn, and then into a frozen lake. But she was also starting to change. She went from a kid to a teenager, then a beautiful woman, then a hunched crone with shaking hands. Anytime I would ask her how to leave, she would just ignore me and sing. So after a couple hours, I decided enough was enough. So I dropped onto the grass, pretending to give up, and she came up to me to ask the same old question. "Are you okay, mister?" It was now or never. So I grabbed her hair and started to crush her chest. "You let me out now." She just kissed my cheek and said, "Okay." After that, I woke up to lying in the same cornfield, but spring had come, while the dirt was cold and the field was plowed. My legs barely worked, but I still managed to walk home. When I got to my house, I found 2 teenage boys on my porch. I didn't know who they were. One was smoking, the other was on his phone. So as I stepped up onto the porch, one of them just said, "Sir," while his eyes widened. That's when I realized they were my wife's eyes. But then all of a sudden, I collapsed onto the dirt and woke up in a hospital bed. A woman with a sparrow tattoo on her neck was sleeping next to me. My wife loved sparrows, but this wasn't my wife. When I woke her up, she told me I'd been gone for 7 years, declared missing. Everyone thought I ran off. My kids James and John were now men, but strangers to me. My wife had remarried someone called Clark, who raised them like his own sons, but my daughter was the only one who hadn't given up. She chased every rumor, every false lead, but she never found anything. They decided to let me stay with them for a while, but Clark's kids didn't even know who I was, and my wife wouldn't even look at me. That night, I just sat on the front porch, regretting every single moment I missed. When out of nowhere, the little girl came back. She had the same eyes, same hair, and the same face. She just stood in the middle of the road, then mouthed the same 3 words I've heard for the past 3 years. "Come with me." I told my wife I was just going for a walk, but I haven't come back since.